Jumping back into the action here at the 2023 NXL Lone Star Major in Round Rock, Texas, just outside of Austin. And Matty Marshall, blessed to have one of the best, not just one of the best right now, but one of the best ever to do it. Marcelo Margot's been stacking up MVP awards. He was the hero for Dynasty at the first event. I got him up here to help us call this set. Dynasty did drop the only game you guys played yesterday, so you got 3 this afternoon. That's going to be interesting. We're definitely going to talk about that. But this is going to be a fun set here. New York Xtreme playing outstanding. They're undefeated. They shut out Level. Mercy Rule win there, and they're going to be playing the Bears, who don't have anything to lose at this one. So Xtreme's in, Bears are out no matter what. But then also in this set, Diesel and Revo taking the field for their first games. Let's actually start with that conversation. What you know, you're intimate with the dudes on Diesel. You know that team as well as anyone on planet Earth. What do you think they need to do to get some W's out here?
Yeah, I think Diesel's going to go to a more hybrid line. This match, they kind of have to. It showed last event, when they went to the hybrid line, they definitely played better. It's hard to get 10 guys in a groove when it's a low-scoring type field, It's just really difficult. There's not enough points for that. So I think that's what they're going to do, and we'll see. But here in this match, NYX loses their first body going to that snake insert bunker. Bears do make it into the snake, so field advantage and body advantage for the Bears this first point.
Yeah, Bears immediately in a crawl right up to the 50. And Marcel, that's kind of been, if you make it into the snake and it's just you, go right to that 50.
Yeah.
Guys have been setting traps and doing little tactical retreats here and there, but it's kind of the stock play right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this, we were talking off camera before we started this set. This is not a mysterious field. What's working out here is blatantly apparent at this point in time, and it's a pretty conventional paintball field. So we'll see, though. Here come the Bears. They're running it fast and aggressive here. Snake side, they get 2 bodies in here. See if with a down by 1 5-on-4 situation here for Xtreme. If they can, try to shoot someone out of the snake. They're looking at 2 bodies right now. Sure enough, they do get a shot here on Frank Antetomaso, so he's going to be taking the walk. It's interesting because they shift Frank over here to the snake side because he was having a hard time getting out alive on the D side.
Yeah, multiple points in a row, they had run him past that can over there, too, and he's dying in that spot, which means that the Aztec here in the middle on the other side of the field, his gun's hot. So why keep running him through that zone? You're kind of setting him up for failure, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, also at on the D side right now at the 50-yard line for the Bears as he's going to scramble up and take cover. He was out in the open area for a second. Lots of blocking shots over in that, so you can see guys in there. But here comes Altamore as he's looked like he shot the inside body too as Pat Kraft Jr. And Pat Kraft is living on the edge over there.
Yeah, and Pat's been playing some very inspired paintball lately. Love to see it.
Yeah, Pat's been lights out so far in 2023, but not here in this point. Not much he could do in that situation as Altamore had the drop in on him. And then Greg Rostek also getting a start here for the Bears. And they're going to put a pretty quick point on the board here to start things out. Interesting mindset. So you coach a lot of teams, and it was funny. We were talking off camera before when we did our pre-show, and I was like, man, guys, it's the most mileage. You got Ryan Greenspan and Harrison, and you're like, man, how are you not gonna throw me in there? I'm like, oh my bad, I normally do. But yeah, you've been coaching tons of teams. I feel like every time I hit you up, hey, let's hang out. You're like, oh, dude, I'm in New York this week. I'm in Vegas this weekend. You're coaching tons of teams, playing lots of paintball, and putting a lot of mileage up. But since you coach a lot of teams, if you were Xtreme right now, New York Xtreme, you're sitting on a beautiful performance so far. They're coming into a game that doesn't mean a ton because you're in no matter what. How do you keep your guys focused in that one?
Well, there's a fine line of already being in and trying to experiment and try things, and also still having the focus to win matches. Like, that's incredibly important. Here as we jump into this first game, it looked like one of these players got shot for Diesel, but Revo does lose their snake player. And it looks like, Mouse did get shot on the break. He got shot very early, right on the outside of that can. I'm surprised.
Okay,
they did.
Yeah,
did
kind of a bit of a disaster here to start things out for Diesel. They did shoot a body, and it looks like Revo might be losing another one. No, it looks like they're good to go with 4. But a penalty assessed here after losing 2. So just down to 2 bodies right now for Diesel. And they're tucked into a pocket, and Revo does have outside contain on that D side. So, yeah, not looking good for Diesel right now.
No, again, I really think the team that wins this event is going to be the team that can just play the best off the break and be conservative with your breakouts. There's no need to throw bodies away. If you can not throw bodies away on the break and shoot people on the break, I know it seems pretty simple, but for some reason, teams are still just trying to throw bodies at the other team.
It's a little seductive because when this layout first hit, and I remember talking to some people and word on the street kind of was, oh, this one might play a little fast. No back corner on the snake side, big, and then come and get an input after the practices, and And then now what we're seeing is that, yeah, exactly what you said. It seems like a simple, breakdown of the field, but that's what it is.
It is, absolutely. And a lot of people just aren't totally honest in practice. It's a different thing when, there's an actual scoreboard and a buzzer calling the game rather than, an arbitrary 5 seconds and a go. Like the timing off the box for these interior cans is everything.
Yeah.
And so if you're a millisecond late, you miss the shot.
On the breakout right now as Bears put up a quick one against Xtreme. So a lot of time left to go. Xtreme's going to get Caro into the snake. And then they're going to get Pat Kraft Jr. He's asking for a check, though. Bears losing 2 bodies, 3 actually, 4 as a bomb blows off. A major penalty assessed, though, on Pat Kraft. Actually, maybe 2 majors might be assessed because I saw 2 red flags go up. So what a crazy, chaotic point here. And as the dust settles, it might be a one-on-one.
Oh, they do shoot Frank, though.
Yeah, so Caro and Frank both had their head on a swivel as all of that madness was going on, but then I heard a pretty loud tink, so I think Caro might have got one on his tank, and he's going to run in. So after a real quick point for the Bears, a bunch of madness ensues, and now a quick point for Xtreme to tie this up with still 12:30 on the clock.
Yeah, Maddie, and actually, even if they were going to lose that point, I was about to say, if I was their coach, I'd say, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity now. See what we can do being down 2-0, because this is a potential Sunday situation.
Absolutely.
Right? And so you got to keep that focus, whether you're in or not. There's so many things you can learn from that 4th game. And seeding does matter, too. You want to win, go in dominant, go in strong. You don't want to show other teams that there's a little bit of a weakness in what you're doing.
Yeah, with Xtreme, people were asking me coming into this one, who's like a true dark horse, right? And we had Ryan up here, and he was saying how he didn't consider them a dark horse. I'm like, bro, they've never won it.
100% a dark horse.
That's okay. Thank you. So I'm on the Play Game podcast side right here.
Yeah, 100%.
Because on the Spick and Span
Everyone
show,
is.
he's like, well, no, that's not a dark horse. They're top 4. They're a top team now. I'm like, bro,
They almost
got relegated last year.
Yeah.
They were one of the worst teams last season, and then now they made top 4, and all of a sudden, like they're not a dark horse anymore.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Wild. Alex Goldman, Mouse gets to the snake, crawls right to the 50-yard line here. 5 alive from both sides of the field. And first to go is Henry Sent out of the can for Revo.
Yeah, Mouse is already on their side. Wrap around, trying to get some kills.
And this is what I envisioned Mouse doing. When this layout dropped, you think about a lot of the other top snake players. You want to think of the top Dorito players, middle players, how they're going to play the field. This is what I envisioned Mouse being able to do on this side. If you really want to press this snake side, you really can.
Yeah, and Mouse is doing that right now. He's also doing it smart, though. He's not really engaging too much. Ooh, got to be careful. I don't think he knows there's a body at that wedge.
I think he does now.
Yeah, now he does.
Now.
When he popped the top, he did. So now he definitely does. He's going to run and trade out.
Oh.
Got to be careful not to get a penalty in that situation. But J-Rab, got to keep your second attackers close to your first. J-Rab feasting right now as he was right there when Goldman went, got right behind him and picking up those kills. Really putting the pressure here on Baltimore Revo. Just a couple bodies left alive for them, stuck in those back bunkers.
Yeah, really good point for Diesel right here. Really dominant. J-Rab coming through and cleaning it up. J-Rab had a hell of a day yesterday, too.
Yeah, he did. And, J-Rab didn't have a great first event, and he doesn't have too many instances where he has 2 rough events in a row.
Totally.
Yeah, so I was expecting for a big one out of him, and he could see it in his body language. Like, I've been watching J-Rab play paintball since he was 12. He was the tough kid coming out playing practice points against us, or we used to call them games back in the day, when he was like 12 years old, 10 years old, when we were on the Ironman when I was on the Ironman with his old man.
We went to the same middle school. You know that,
that's
right?
Yeah. I remember he told me about that. Yeah, so having watched him play for so long, yesterday his body language, his snapshots, everything was so crisp. He seemed so intense.
Yeah.
So we can see here. So this is
from New York Xtreme.
Yeah, so we got Brooklyn Bears, and there's the frustration setting in. Very emotional team, those East Coasters. And then they go in. So there's that major. Caught that ball early. And, yeah, I could see Sester getting very frustrated with that first point and how it kind of shook out. But still a lot of paintball left to play in this one here. Our second point. So now we're heading into the third point with 12:30 on the clock and tie ball game.
Yeah, and this can on the snake side got bounced going in on his left side. Ref runs in there. Doesn't check the spot that the player checked. That's kind of interesting. He checked the right side of himself.
So CJ Cantor coming off right now for New York Xtreme early as they get Carl to the 50-yard line. So Carl's going to beat Baltimore into the snake and to the 50-yard line. Now Altamore's going to hit the deck, crawl up into snake 1, and he's going to stay there. Greg Rostek's going to go into the wedge, try to keep Carl honest at that 50. And this is always, anytime you have the Brooklyn Bears playing New York Xtreme, it's a bit of a grudge match. It doesn't really matter when it happens.
Absolutely.
It could be first game, last game, it doesn't matter. Like,
battle for New York right
yeah,
here.
exactly. This is for bragging rights as well, too. So now, so they're going to send Frank Antetomaso for the Bears toward the snake side again. And they're tripling up here on the snake side. And Marcelo, we're seeing that a decent amount, too, is sending multiple bodies towards the snake side. Not every single point, but it's a trend that we should discuss.
Well, it's just kind of a war of attrition. Again, you see Mouse goes down, causes all that damage. You have J-Rab right behind him, you know, and you want another body kind of in that interior spot. I think that wedge has been proven to be incredibly useful to protect your snake players.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just really powerful on this side.
So 3 bodies here for both teams, actually, as Taylor's in the wedge, as Carl's still at that 50. I didn't see him walk off.
Yeah, Brooklyn Bears are deep on the Dorito side. They own the whole tape. They lose New York Xtreme loses Corey Hall.
Yeah, the pass to 50 here. Pushing the issue for the Bears is it's falling apart right now for Xtreme.
Chris Caputo over there going off on the Dorito side. I think that's Caputo.
Yeah, he's going to get a little bit of help. He's not going to need it, as it was just poor Jerry Carl, probably frustrated. That's when you're at the 50.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you stand up after getting shot, turn around, like, what happened to everyone behind me? I was at the 50, man. Like, I got 3 guys in front of me.
Yeah, they were also in the 50, though, on the other side.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Young Caputo. Like that kid a lot. Puts in a lot of work. Good dude.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be getting pretty familiar with the East Coast players, because you've been over there a lot.
Yeah, for sure. You know, when he was in divisional paintball playing with Leverage, every time I was out there with New York Wrecking Crew, he's at the field either with his team, without his team, you know, doing drills, filming. He's just fully, you know, submerged in the sport of paintball. So always a fan of players like that.
Yeah. We love those guys. Us lifers love those guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Did I shoot CJ early?
So Diesel now tied up after that beautiful attack here on the snake side with Rabikoff and Goldman. Let's see if they go back to that again as these teams switch sides, and they're going to try to send Goldman to the snake off the break. He gets eaten up. Spica getting a spin. He's going to filter in right behind Goldman after Goldman's walking off dead.
Revo also loses a body on the Dorito side, so 4-on-4 here. A little bit of an advantage, I'd say, for Revo. They are in the snake.
Yeah, Revo, in the snake and at the 50-yard line. So, yeah, we keep seeing this. The guys, they crawl right to the 50, and they also have a body at that 50 brick right next to him as well, too, as another body coming off of Diesel is, I think that's Horvath taking the walk.
Nico.
Nico Hyde. And then here comes J-Rab to come over and help out Spica, as Caleb Abel, new pickup for Revo this year. I thought that was a great pickup. Really started making a name for himself with Energy Elite.
Yep.
Wind picking back up again here, whipping those bunkers around. Talk to me about when you're out there and it's this conditions. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling?
Yeah, it's really difficult to hear. That's the biggest thing for me. You know, communication is a huge part of my game, and it's really hard to hear your teammates. So you kind of have to play off body language, and you can't let it frazzle you. That's the number one thing. You know, you have to just say it is what it is, and it's just as bad for the other guys. So you really got to use your eyes, use your vision, try to read your teammates' body language, and go from there, you know. I think hand signals are kind of an underutilized thing in the game, actually.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. A lot of guys don't think about that.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to utilize it very
often. Yeah. But, you know, in those games, especially like World Cup in the finals, sometimes it's so loud that you can't hear each other talk, you know, and or if it's incredibly windy or, you know, and as we're talking over here, Kyle Spica gets shot for Diesel, so just 2 alive. J-Rap does fill into that. We're calling that snake 1. I don't know what you guys are calling that.
Insert.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
It just felt really weird.
I don't want to confuse.
I don't want to confuse. That's kind of why I went with snake insert, because it just felt weird to call it snake 1.
Okay.
For you guys, it makes 100% sense communication-wise. And it looks like J-Rab is going to get shot as well, too. Not much J-Rab could do in that position, as they had lost another body over there. And so Revo blew up in that D side and won some gunfights here to give themselves a little bit of a lead, as we're under 11 minutes to go. So, yeah, and with Revo, you know, with Diesel, the story is superstar roster. What a cool thing for paintball with what Mark Johnson and Greg Brawley are doing. And then Revo also kind of has a similar story. Tom Ford come in. He's trying to throw money at guys and pay dudes to come over. But you know, got a little bit of he just kind of got to the race of the roster race a little bit later than everybody did.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
you know, Tom's also looking at the long-term view too. But they also have a bunch of new guys trying to get it together as quick as they can. Same thing with Diesel. It's like, yeah, the names are awesome, the talent's great, but you've been on a lot of superstar rosters over the years. Sometimes it just takes a bit of time to find that.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think the biggest thing that Tom is going to be able to do is keep people from leaving at this point, you know, and so you'll now be able to really keep your core. You look over the last couple seasons, it's like each offseason they lose kind of a core member, and they've still been resilient,
Yep.
you know, and so now maybe that won't happen as much. And I think, you know, keeping the core together is more important than anything. You build that chemistry. Chemistry can't be bought. So that's one of the things in paintball. You see these teams that are comfortable playing with one another. You understand body language. You know when your teammate wants you to switch. You know when he wants you to get out, you know, to the corner behind him. You know when they're about to make a move. That's when you see teams really start to excel.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brooklyn Bears up by 1 over New York Xtreme. As the Bears should be playing with a bit of reckless abandon here, and they have been, because they're out. They've lost all 3 of their matches so far, which was also something I didn't think we'd see. With how the Bears have been, you know, that it's been a cool story. Thunder last year,
right?
What they and you know, pretty decent at the first event. Jumping into this next point, 10:27 on clock. Bears going to be losing a body here, trying to get into the insert snake. Oh, they're going to lose Greg too, as he gets shot trying to transition into the wedge. So that's going to allow New York Xtreme to get Tim Stetzel
a spin over here. He's been playing well.
He did,
in his limited spins.
Absolutely.
Like to see it.
Yeah, he had some real good points for him yesterday. I mean, when you go undefeated, kind of you're getting contributions out of a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just good because he blew his shoulder out so bad, and we see a young talent like that coming up at a young age have a big injury. It takes an entire year essentially to get back. But as a guy that has fought through injuries when you were young too, it mentally can be tough.
It can be.
So right now, with the advantage here, New York Xtreme try to tie this game up. And looks like they're going to be losing, both teams actually losing a body from that D side.
I think there's only one alive for the Bears in the back center right now. New York just hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah, they lost Frank. Yeah, it's not looking good here for the Bears. Transitions from the back center on over to the can. Xtreme's trying to count the bodies. Also with the bunkers whipping around, you can't see bunker movement and identify where anybody is.
Right, yeah, that's another really tough thing is you got to be sure. You can't be calling spots just because it's moving.
You can't hear your teammates.
Right.
You can't tell from with the bunker movement where they are. The sun's now up in the sky, so you can't utilize the shadows.
Right.
It's a hard field to keep the communication on, even in the perfect conditions.
Yeah.
And as they clear the field out here to tie this game up, but you know, again, that's one of the call it the gifts of the game, right? Paintball, well, the way it is. I mean, just sports in general, but this sport in specific, it forces you to really be able to train your mind to focus, no matter what the hell's going on around you. Whether it's weather or you guys are losing. I mean, if you end up being good at this and it can work yourself to utilize your talent to become elite, you've been able to train your mind to really be able to stay focused no matter what chaos is going on around you.
Absolutely. Definitely one of the gifts of the game. You're right. You know, you have to be able to persevere no matter what the elements are. Definitely trying of your character at many times forces you to question yourself. Gives you reasons to be proud of yourself.
You deal with
Amazing game.
Deal with failure a lot.
Yeah, certainly.
I mean, unless you're Dynasty for the past couple seasons.
Now, we've still had plenty of our failures to, you know, look back on, and even in the events we've won, I think there's been many small failures within the event that you have to learn from in order to win.
Well, you guys have won 7 of the last 13, but that still means you did a fair share of losing too, you know?
Yeah, right.
In the pits right now with New York Xtreme.
I think, yeah, we pull you up.
And jumping into this next one, see how Diesel answers here. And yes, getting shut down, trying to take some ground.
I mean, that's 3 out of 4 points. They've lost the snake on the break, and they just continue to run there. I don't understand there. You know, they lose Kyle trying to fill immediately. You just have to respect if the other team is shooting it well, keep your body alive and just put an extra gun on their snake guy so that you're not at a disadvantage if they do make it in there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to allow Caleb Abel here to hit the deck and crawl up into that 50-yard line. He's going to stay as low as he possibly can. Running referee Coming in, check out Revo at the Aztec as they move up into the wedge. Looks like Henry's good to go. 5 bodies alive right now for Revo. 2-body advantage, 5-on-3 situation, and a 1-point lead with 10:14 on the clock.
Big Henry Sense getting in that snake insert bunker.
That's a good fill. Put some pressure on this wedge. What do you think about the wedge?
You know, it's one of those bunkers that doesn't look like you should be in there because you feel like you're at a disadvantage if anyone gets in the snake, but it has proven to be a great spot to really slow down the snake and put pressure on the snake, and the snake has to respect you. You can't just freely crawl around and pop up and start shooting people. So I think it's, you know, much better than certainly we've given it credit for, and then maybe it looked.
I couldn't agree more. From what I've seen after watching every single point out here, that's a perfect breakdown because when you're walking it and you're looking at it, you're like, this is gonna be a tough one to play because you have to do that combat yoga and you're gonna get that stitch in your side and it's tough to stay that lane. But time and time again, we keep seeing that spot be very proficient at keeping the snake honest.
Totally.
Because that can kind of sucks, you know? It's a really rough spot.
Terrible spot. Yeah, the thing is like sometimes there's these bunkers on the field that you might not produce a ton of kills, but being there puts a certain amount of pressure on the other team that is very meaningful. The last event, that big brick on the 50-yard line on the Dorito side, it's why I thought New York Xtreme did so well and why they were playing that field so well is they were the only team that was kind of consistently going up to that spot with Pat Kraft. Not a whole bunch of production out of there, but you kept the other team from making certain moves, and you forced the Snake players and the Dorito players to constantly question if you were in there.
And a great launching pad when the scramble sets.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now 8:20 here to go. Tie ball game. Bears losing a body on the break. Looks like 5 alive for New York Xtreme. So 5-on-4 situation as Frank is going to try to get into the Aztec, and they lose another body with Greg Rostek coming off. Frank's going to take the walk as well, too. So just 2 bodies out there right now for the Brooklyn Bears. Tim Stetzel getting another spin, talking it up nicely. And he's going to dive in here. And those kills came off relatively quick, so sometimes that's tough to keep the count when you're in that situation. Don't want to be throwing high body situations away. Stetzel goes right to the 50-yard line. He's going to wrap around, see if the coast is clear before he can get on his stomach and start crawling up again. Those are the last 2 bodies. Tim doesn't even need to crawl because it looks like he does know what the situation is. So the guns are going to shift towards Tim. It's going to take a lot of pressure off the other remaining 4 players. And then now they're going to launch a move all the way down coast to coast here on the D side, getting deep.
There we go, Corey Hall. He's been playing phenomenal this season.
Yeah, one of that SoCal core that I constantly hear you guys are all training, you know? I mean, when you're in town. But
yeah, he just seems inspired again. You know, he's been putting in the work, and I love Corey's game when he's on because he's one of those attackers that has really good survivability, and that's like the rarest thing. You know, he's consistently alive. He knows when to go. He'll play slow if he has to. You know, and so when he's on that team, he's a huge boost to that team. So you can put him out on that Dorito side all by himself, and he'll be alive and control that side, and it gives you an extra body somewhere else.
When he got paint, when Elevation came into the Pro League, which is interesting because I agree with everything you just said, but to add to that, he got Paintball famous by pulling off low body situations.
Right.
Not even as an attacker.
Well, he was the attacker though. He would just be the last one alive on the Dorito side.
Off a 1-on-3 or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but that's when we were like, "Who's this Corey Hall guy?" Jesus, I got to remember that guy's name.
Totally.
And then he's just proving very versatile, and he was a huge pickup for New York Xtreme. I'm glad they kept him on the squad.
Even with the Ironman in that 2020 win, he was the one on the Dorito side, and he pulled off 1-on-2s, and he'd just be the last one alive.
Yeah, he was a part of that starting 5 that won him that tournament in Vegas. That was the first win the Ironman had in 10 years.
Ooh, looked like Jarab just got shot in his loader, but nothing there. Maybe came off the bunker.
Tense moments for Diesel right now, as they do not want to drop 2 games in a row here and then put them in a must-win situation for both of their next 2 games.
Yeah, both sides losing a body. Nico Hyde coming off the Dorito side for Diesel.
Caleb Abel, though, past the 50 here and on to Diesel's side of the field. Right now, Marcelo is looking like he wants to crawl up to that next spot. Doesn't have to worry about the wedge. There's no one in that position. And he could use some help, though.
Yeah, Mouse is waiting for him right here, though. He knows exactly. He understands the drill. He gets the assignment.
Yeah, Mouse is just pumping paint through those lanes, trying to work maybe some fluke bounce shot. He's kind of shooting that spot thinking he might be in that and waiting to pop out for a snapshot. Head checks inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, just pressure, right? Because if you're Caleb and you're in that spot and they're shooting around your bunker, in your head you're like, maybe they do know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say, and that's the exact intention that I believe Mouse has. Is he might not know, but he wants that player, Caleb, to not feel comfortable. But it looks like Caleb's going to try to come up and get a shot on this tower, the back center. He is going to be able to shoot the tower. Oh, he's going to get the kill. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, chicken wings him. Gets that kill, so nice job by Caleb. Stayed composed, even with Mouse putting all that pressure on him, and now he's going to do a little retreat.
Oh, I love that play. He didn't overextend and then also try to shoot the back center. A-Rod probably would have shot him because he was waiting for that.
Yeah.
So he gets the kill, stays alive, comes back, knows that they're up bodies and up points right now. Really smart play here. Oh.
Caleb's getting good. It looks like Goldman coming off, and he goes eyes of the sky in frustration. Okay, yeah, because Diesel's got some time to work with, but this one's starting to get away from him here, Marcelo.
Yeah, what I don't like here is, they did go to the hybrid line, but then they switch the positions that the players were playing, It doesn't sound like Mouse played the snake side a whole lot in practice. He was kind of playing the Dorito side, and I thought he was playing the Dorito side fantastic. We practiced them on Thursday. Him and J-Rab were doing really well over there. They felt, it was really, really dominant. So I feel like you should have kind of kept that, and had Kyle was playing really well on the snake side, in my opinion, as the one.
I thought he was too.
So
I'm a little. I
maybe
think
they're changing too much.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things where it's like it's like an easy go-to, right? Oh, we lost.
Yeah,
oh, let's just put Mouse on the
certainly.
snake side. So it's like, oh, okay, that I get it, makes sense. But I also thought Kyle played pretty well over there as well too. So if you didn't play it much in practice, I mean, yeah, it's Mouse and he's gonna know how to play the snake, and sure he had some good looks. But I understand. I'm with you.
He can play anywhere,
Of course. But it would also be nice to have him on the D side too.
Yeah.
Now Tim Stetzel getting caught here off the break.
Bears losing 2 bodies though, so 4-on-3 advantage for New York. Nobody in the snake for either team, as you see there on your screen. Eye in the sky there. Looks like New York in pretty good formation there, and they're up a point. Don't have to do much. Up a point, up a body right now. Good field spread. With Corey Hall, number 33, in that Dorito corner. That's exactly where he likes to be. Knows he can control the whole field from there. Communicate. You can hear him on the camera.
He has everyone's got a different voice.
Yeah.
And he has a distinctive tone to his voice.
Certainly.
And so that's it's easy to understand. It's a good communicator.
And look at that. He gets all the way up into the Dorito 4. Going into the 50 over there, getting these cross-field kills.
Another easy one here for New York Xtreme.
Corey Hall, 33. Must be the number.
I was going to say, he's stealing your number.
Must be the number. It's on loan. On loan. It pays dues.
Yeah, so what happened in your game yesterday, if you could diagnose the loss?
Yeah, I hate making excuses, but that inadvertent horn really stunk. Threw us completely out of position. I heard what you guys said. It's uneven for both sides. That's actually not totally true. We had a huge advantage on that Dorito side. And when the horn blew, which it absolutely did, the concession happened, you're trained and taught to hurry up and get into the pit. Get reloaded, get ready for the next point if you have to play, or give valuable information. So I left the Dorito, the tape, which we completely owned that side, and got stuck in the tower there with, the 50 snake, putting a lot of pressure on me, when I realized, like, oh, wait, the game didn't stop.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer. You go down 0-2 instead of, I really believe it should have been 1-1. And then outside of that, we weren't connecting on the break shots, and they were. So, again, I think that this field is going to come down to being able to have 5 alive and get a kill off the break, more than a lot of the other fields. It's just a recipe for winning. If you could have 5 alive and the other team struggles, they keep running into your guns, it's a dream come true.
Well, speaking of running into guns, Diesel's done a decent amount of that here against Revo so far. 7 minutes to go and a 3-point spread. Definitely enough time for Diesel to get back into this one.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Caleb Abel, insert bunker for Baltimore Revo. 5 bodies alive for them. They're going to send, Diesel sends Goldman back over snake side. He's mirrored up with Caleb. Referee checking out. Diesel looked like clean in the can. Now J-Rab's going to filter in here. So right behind Mouse. Mouse going to get a check too. He's good to go. A-Rod's in a real good spot here, Marcelo, at the 50-yard line. And he's telling talking about hand signals.
Yeah, he's trying to tell Mouse to get down the snake.
That was a pretty obvious, hey, get in the snake
yeah.
and get down the snake hand signal right there.
Yep.
But it's funny, you were just talking about hand signals, and then A-Rod, who's a salty vet too.
Yep. Yeah, because he's undetected in there, so he doesn't want to give himself up.
Yeah, being undetected in the middle is crucial. So much pressure is going outside. Impact's first game plan that they came out with, Marcelo, was doubled up in that. Oh, it looks like A-Rod catching, coming off, shaking his head. But not a lot of tension is being put towards the center of the field right now. Lots of guns are going outside wide.
Yeah, totally. And A-Rod, he signals for Mouse to get down to the snake because he wants it, Mouse to get into the 50 and them have that great kind of cross and connection there. But as soon as Mouse started crawling, A-Rod switches to the other side and starts trying to wrap inside of that big brick and gives his body away. So just a little greedy there, Mouse was about to do exactly what you wanted and put pressure on them. So, but here we see, looks like Mouse in the 50 snake with J-Rab right behind him. They do get multiple kills on this
3 bodies
side.
coming off real quick here for Baltimore Revo. And then Mouse does come off that side, but J-Rab right next to him.
Looks like a 2-on-3 right now.
Yeah, 2-on-3.
Advantage Diesel.
Yeah, advantage Diesel for sure, positionally as well as the body count. As they're going to move up to the brick, and here comes J-Rab. He's going to get to the 50. Desperation run to a spot can. Makes it clean. No one, and I think he got cut cross field right there.
Yeah, that
definitely saw some
like
blow off of him. So he's going to get tapped out. That leaves just one body left alive for Baltimore Revo.
Oh my gosh, and he just runs to his death. Oh, okay, he traded.
Yeah, they still had Clint Johnson and J-Rab still left alive. So 1 point closer to the goal here for AC Diesel. 2-point spread now. Thumbs up from the referee. 4-2 will be the score.
Another solid point from J-Rab.
Yeah, his body language looks fierce out there. He really looks dialed right now. So I'd be running J-Rab every point till wheels fall off.
Yeah. Yeah, the shooters on this field too, it's especially important since it is a field that's so crucial to, because it's not really easy to get the kills on the break. There's no like massive gaps, but the shots are there. So if your shooters are on, the shots are there. So I think, you have your shooters really play as much as possible, so that they can read like, okay, when they line up in this way, they run this route. Those little details at the start station. And here we go. On your screen, we see A-Rod as he was wrapping inside. Oh, a team kill. That's a bummer. Oh, that's a bummer. Looks like he got shot by his own team.
We've seen a lot of that. Oh, yeah, that angle.
Yeah.
He's like, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Ooh, New York Xtreme losing 2 bodies here early. Is McLean going to take the walk with Taylor? And then they're going to lose their back center as well as CJ loses a gunfight. So New York Xtreme here in this grudge match against the Brooklyn Bears. 3 early deaths. Packcraft Jr.'s at the wedge, and they still have Corey Hall, back corner bunker on the D side. So with Pat and Corey still alive, it's possible. They've pulled off some low-body magic, but it's not looking good. Ooh, Jesus.
Oh,
Pack,
wow.
Talk about a grudge match. Pack gets shot to the ground. And that leaves just Corey, and he's going to get tapped up, and he's going to get bonus ball too. He's going to stand there. Corey, I know you're a California, or you're living in California, about to move to Texas, but dude, you're playing on a New York team against another New York team. Like, you're gonna catch bonus balls.
He's like, wait, I don't understand this rivalry. What's going on here?
why are you guys shooting me so much after I'm dead? Oh, it's New York Xtreme versus Brooklyn Bears. Okay, all right, I get it. I'm gonna catch some extra bruises here. Yeah, Pat got shot to the ground. Corey had his hand out waving for a good 3-4 seconds as he's just getting shot. So making this game interesting, though. So
yeah, 1-point game there. And then 2-point game here. Revo up 4-2.
That might have been Caputo on the bonus balls.
He was definitely one of the culprits, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm diming him out. Like that's part of the game, man.
Yeah.
One of my pet peeves with paintball is when people complain about bonus balls. Like,
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Refuse to complain about that.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's just gonna happen. Depending on who you play, but you put the name in the logbook. It's like, who is that? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Caputo. All right, I'll get you back.
Yeah.
Don't worry. And thank you guys so much for joining us across your social media networks. And please head on over to GoSports.com. Watch the conclusion of these battles going down today. Full set of paintball today here. 12 sets of paintball, dawn to dusk. We will be here till dark.
Got some games to make up.
Yeah, Dynasty 3 games to play today, starting this afternoon.
Looks like Diesel's going to give BJ another spin. Mouse is down. Mark Johnson is out there. Clint Johnson. Mark Baginski, I think, over on the Dorito side, and J-Rab.
The Iceman.
Interesting not to turn the line that just won that point, but we shall see how they do.
That's typically how it goes.
Yeah.
You ride that hot hand. Yeah, and Diesel, I mean, they dropped their first game. Every point is massive for them, and they're down by 2 right now with 4 minutes and 34 seconds. So a lot of pressure on the 5 that are out there currently here for AC Diesel.
Both teams make it into the snake. A little better snake positioning for Diesel as they get into that snake 2 spot.
And Marcelo, both teams 5 alive.
Yep.
Hey, it's a better field position for Henningberg, looking like he wants to crawl up. As Baltimore Revo is going to fill that wedge. And if you just joined us, Marcelo's breaking down why that wedge is crucial as an important bunker on this field to mostly just put pressure on that snake side.
Right. Yeah, and this snake insert player for Revo, Abel, is not going to come off that Dorito side because the other team's not wide over there. So he has a great zone that he could just, shut down that entire side of the field.
Yeah, Wynn picking back up here again, making it extra hard on the communication for the players out there on the field. Still 5-on-5 here. Time starting to tick off, though. 2-point spread that Diesel needs to make up as we're hitting the 3:33 mark. Henningbird has made his way to the 50-yard line, wrapping around, checking off inside and outside. Like he's gonna do a little retreat here. And J-Rab went into the insert bunker snake side and then backs up off to the Aztec once Henningberg did his retreat. Diesel gets out into D1, looking like he wants to push himself into D2 or D3. Oh, but gets caught. So Baginski taking the walk. Mark Johnson going to move up into the wedge, and they're going to flood Clint Johnson into D1 to take over for Baginski. 1 body advantage right now for Revo. And with the 2-point lead, Marcelo, once they get into some good spots, you're probably going to see, they're not out on the D side yet, but they have the lead to protect. It's up to Diesel with the 2.5 minutes to push forward.
Yeah, and they don't need to get out on the D side because they have Caleb Abel here watching that zone. That zone is massive across field, so I wouldn't be worried about them coming down the Dorito side.
Some of these lanes are big enough to drive a truck through.
Yeah, 2 trucks, semi-truck, fully loaded.
Henningberg trying to push the issue here, and he's going to get taken out where? From the wedge.
Yeah, see, and I just don't understand not spinning the line that just won the point, but everyone has their different opinions, I guess.
Still 3 bodies out there for AC Diesel to try to get it done.
Yeah,
Rabakov going to have to pick it up here on the snake side for Henningberg's death.
He's certainly capable, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good event. Diesel, again, they lost their game, but J-Rab looked pretty dialed in the first one. 3 games today for Diesel. We'll be playing the Hurricanes in a bit.
Yeah, if he can shoot this wedge, all it takes is 1 good shot on the wedge, and this whole side opens up.
Time ticking off the clock, though, Marcelo.
Yeah.
1 minute 30 now. Needing 2 just to tie, kind of playing. I mean, I wouldn't say playing like they need 1 because they lost those bodies.
Right.
They were playing like they needed to. They just got chewed up on the attack. Great zone control from Revo.
Yeah, and I'm not sure who that is in the wedge. I don't know if that's Benny Carroll, but he's playing it fantastic. He's not even really engaging with J-Rab. He's just watching the next cut, you know?
I think that is Benny.
Oh, and Caleb Abel getting into this snake 2 right here, knowing he'd come out on the tape.
Push on the middle at the 50-yard line. So Rabakov at the 50 in the snake. They also have the 50 with Clinton Johnson. There's Clint.
I don't love...
Here comes Abel, and they peel off J-Rab. That's a huge kill. That might be the coffin nail here, Marcelo.
Yeah, this game's over, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mark Johnson was close to J-Rab, but just they're just grinding their gears on the offense here for Diesel. They do shoot a body, but just a little too late. With just 30 seconds left to go, maybe they can get 1 if Mark or Clint can find something, a way to break through.
Oh, Mark just made a move. Gets the... Oh,
he
did
did.
not kill him?
No, he didn't kill him. But they trade out, but that's fine for Revo.
Yeah, totally.
And they get a shot on Clint too. So if they start the sprint now, they'll be able to get another point. But I think they're just going to let it finish.
I mean,
this
they should
way. They definitely
need the
should.
spread.
They need the spread.
Yeah.
But they don't. I think they don't. They're not sure on the count.
Yeah.
When they shot Clint, if they had just taken off to run, they would have had time to get it. But a win's a win.
Mm-hmm.
And Revo dropped to the Hurricanes yesterday. So yeah, they need the win. They need the spread. But this is a good momentum builder though for Revo, because again, as we talked about, both of these teams are in a situation where they're building something. They're trying to build something special.
Right.
But now Revo can say, "Will we beat Diesel?"
Yeah.
So.
That's what we need.
A lot of great players on that team, and not just the players they just picked up. Diesel was becoming a very, competitive team last year, so they got a lot of ballers.
Yeah, I was wondering what they were going to do with that, and then when I talked to Mark about it, he's like, "Well, we're just going to keep the guys we had because we love those guys."
Yeah, certainly.
And then we're just going to see
That's the
how
core.
see how it works out, right, with everybody. They did. Logan Dyer decided to go to Notorious, so that's the only loss that they've had so far with the giant bulky roster that they have. Jumping back into this next one, a little bit more time here, 5:15 on the clock in a closer game.
Yeah, Frank getting shot on the break again. Bears losing another player, so 5-on-3 advantage for New York in this point. But the Bears are wide in this snake insert bunker, so that is a way to get back in a point. And he gets a kill on Josh out of the can.
Josh Taylor as Xtreme getting McLean into the snake. McLean getting up inside as Baltimore gets to the 50-yard line. And he's going to back up off that spot quite a bit, try to get a better angle, but ends up getting caught doing so. So, yeah, Bears, another team grinding gears on offense. Frank's been getting picked on out here. He's been getting shot off the break a lot, and he's one of the core members of that attacking group, and need him alive. And then also the Bears have been kind of getting shut down on the snake side. Not completely, but they haven't been able to put a win on the board. Keeping this one close in the grudge match, but looking like it's going to be Xtreme. No concession from the Bears either. I mean, they did shoot a body, but only 2 players left alive. Just going to let it run here. Again, the Bears are out as they're 0-3 currently.
Yeah, if I'm the Bears coach, I'm getting ready to blow the buzzer here. 4-on-2, your team's not quite making moves at this point. You don't have an advantage anywhere. Reset. Practice trying to score 2 points to tie the game, right?
Absolutely.
Figure something out in this match that you can learn from, build off of, take back into the practices for the next event.
Looks like Pat Kraft's going to fill all the way back. And we are finally going to see a concession. So New York Xtreme going to go up by another one here. Xtreme, man, they're
Looking good.
About to be undefeated.
Yeah, playing very solid paintball.
So Play the Game podcast.
Yes.
How's it going? Got to
it's
pump
going
it up, man. I love what you
fantastic.
guys are doing over there.
Thank you. Yeah, best stories in the game are told on Play the Game podcast. So if you want to hear some great paintball stories, some OG stories, some news stories, current events, all the good stuff, head over to ptgpaintball.com. You can watch the videos, listen to the audio. Obviously, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all the things.
Yeah, I feel like every time I come on the show, I got to carve out like 5 hours. We go deep.
We go deep, man. It's great.
It's like the Marianas Trench of paintball,
Yeah, it's a good time. That's another thing that Tyler and I, we continuously have these conversations off air, just about how grateful we are to be able to have these conversations with, the other players, pros, old and new. It's been a really fun thing for us. I think it's made both of us better players as well. A lot of great information gets talked about on the show. We give a lot of information away and we absorb a lot of information. So. I think the podcast has been just a fantastic thing for the whole community, for us included.
Stories must be told, and the more people telling stories, the better. Because, man, we got to circle the wagons. Cavalry's not coming to save us.
Yeah,
we got to tell our own stories. So, I love what you guys are doing over there. It's awesome. You teach any clinics coming up? I know you've been coaching more.
Yeah, a lot of private coaching. I think the next clinic I have, I don't think is until August, and it's going to be at Outdoor Adventure in Wisconsin. Shout out to the Outdoor Adventure family, a fantastic group of people. I've gone out there almost every year for quite some time. So if you're in the area, make sure to check that one out. But other than that, it's a lot of just private team stuff. Yeah.
Big question I had is like, now who is going to win at the BKI summer camp? Because you're not going to that one. And you've just been winning that year after year after year.
I had to give Ryan a chance, you know, so he didn't give up. But you know, won't be there this year, unfortunately. Looks like each side losing a body off the break. So 4-on-4 here.
Yeah, now 3:10 to go in a 2-point spread. Bears even with it even up count still. It's up to them to push forward here in this grudge match. Bears are out, Xtreme's in, but this is just basically a lot of smack talk that's going to happen over in New York here in between events or until they get to play each other again. So look for the Bears to push forward with nothing to lose. And they are making moves on the D side, getting up into D3, and now going to get outside wide. So Frank stays alive here on the break. So that's good for the Bears. They have Greg at the wedge, but no offense. Oh, and looks like Frank taking the walk.
He is struggling.
Yeah, it's a rough one. Every now and then you catch a tournament like this.
Yeah, one of their best players too, you know, so that's tough for the Bears for sure. Frank is a stud when he's on.
Yeah, for sure. Here comes Patcraft moving up the field here on the left-hand side of your screen for New York Xtreme, as they have a triple stack of bodies here towards the snake side. 2 this way for the Bears, but no one in attacking position, and that's a problem since they need 2 just to tie, and we're about to hit 2 minutes left to go, and it's a 3-on-4. They're kind of running out of space to concede.
Yeah, definitely out of space to concede. Now you need your players to understand the assignment, try to go win a point. And, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Patcraft, ooh, it's slippery out there. This is when I would almost like go to Walmart, buy the extra long cleats, and then I'd also have grab one of our things you use to clean your golf club, and then have that to clean your cleats in between points.
Yeah, you definitely got to get the mud off in between points, otherwise it gets real clunky.
Yeah, looking like Greg's going to be getting shot out of that wedge as well. And then here comes Jerry Carl past the 50s onto the Bears side of the field with 1:13 to go. He's about to get bunkered, though, as Cantor died as well, too. So Nick might be able to steal this point. Oh, he's got one body to work with at the tower. He gets eaten up by the tower. And it's Patcraft saving the day here, as he had retreated to the tower and then got the drop in on Nick. And Corey's still alive over there as well, too. Corey's, with all the chaos happening over here, he actually hit the deck and thought that Pat might be a player from the Bears for a second. And he's going to pop up. Tal thrown, so Xtreme going to extend their lead. Xtreme is looking really good. For Xtreme, they really haven't faced too much adversity in the prelims. And, you know, obviously you guys with Dynasty have been in the situation. How do you handle meetings when doesn't look like there's that much apparent to fix?
There's always stuff to fix. Even if you're winning, you just have to be honest with yourself. And a lot of teams are not honest with themselves. You know, us included, we fall into the trap when things are going well. It's hard to look back and say, well, really, we shouldn't have won this point, and we shouldn't have won that point, and here's why, you know? Sometimes you just need somebody to be the bad guy and speak up and say, look, guys, yeah, fantastic job. Let's be proud of it. But a lot of mistakes, you know? We dropped this zone for X amount of time, and a player that wants to is going to get through that. Or, you know, you were looking the wrong way this point, or I was looking the wrong way that point. Yeah. You know, all these little details, you might win the point, but there's certainly things that you can take away from those wins and figure out how could another team have exploited this, you know? And if you can do a really good job of being honest about that and thinking about those situations, that's how you can go 4-0 and still learn, get better, and make improvements, you know, so that you're not stunned, you're not shocked.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations. We say it all the time because it's true. Because, you know, typically speaking, when a team blazes its way through the prelims, all of a sudden something bad happens on Sunday, and now you got to fix it in real time in a minute and a half.
Right.
And if you didn't have that conversation, it's almost like you also need to discuss, like you just talked about, the what ifs. Okay, well, what if, I was watching the wrong lane, no one ran through it, thank God, but if somebody did and then I got shot, okay, what would we have done there?
Yes.
Yeah. So, see if Bears can put a point on the board for Pride. That's pretty much all they're fighting for currently here, as we're looking at Coach Dan. Doing a great job of helping guide the ship with New York Xtreme. It's 2 events in a row that they've looked really good again. They're a legit dark horse right now to win this tournament.
Definitely a dark horse.
I mean, they barely lost to you guys at the first event.
Right, overtime.
That was a really close game.
Yeah.
Low scoring 100%. Game, close match. So now down by 3 here. This is probably the last point that we'll see. I don't know, unless we see a major. That's totally possible. And the Bears going to be losing their first attacker in the middle of the field. And there goes a body coming off right now for New York Xtreme. Here come the Bears. Bears pass the 50 here in the snake. Looks like Geiger getting, or no, sorry, not Geiger. Let's see, this is for the Bears. Oh, there's a minor
Ivan
penalty.
Gonzalez.
Yeah, minor penalty assessed. So the Bears are going to be putting another one up with 11 seconds. And I'm wondering if they're going to play that.
Probably, right?
Yeah, probably.
I think you have to play above 10.
Yeah, I think you do. So we'll see another one.
I think it's weird that we arbitrarily, or not arbitrarily, but it's our choice to play points under 10 seconds or not.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it's weird just because, like, no other sport, you just, you know, there could be time on the clock.
I'm with you 100%. I mean, I could argue it from both perspectives.
Yeah, me too.
But also, one of the things that I like to say to people is that paintball is a very unique thing.
I agree.
You know,
yeah.
so because a lot of
agree.
times, and I feel like paintball's fallen into the trap over the past 30 years of, you know, unnecessarily trying to emulate another sport.
I
When it's
definitely
more
agree.
of like embrace your own identity
Yes.
of what we are and what works for us and what draws people to this game
Totally.
because of its special uniqueness and not necessarily having to change stuff in order to emulate another sport.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So yeah, we're gonna see another one here as bodies coming out for the Bears and New York Xtreme. You see Bo Milo getting a spin. How are you guys? One question people keep asking me about, because, you know, Dynasty's been so successful, and yeah, you lost Dalton, but then you get Harrison and Chris, and there's just so many good players on that team. Like, how are you guys handling playing time right now with Skinny?
That's pretty much 100% up to Skinny. So, you know, he watches us all throughout practice. He tries different lineups, you know, puts people in different spots, and we show up to the event, and he has an idea of what he feels is going to work, and that's what we go with.
I mean, obviously it's working.
Yeah.
You know, it's been working really well. But it's just one of those things when I'll be walking around, Dynasty comes up, and we talk about stuff. People do ask me that conversation. That's the answer I typically give to them. But there is a core, though. I mean, you play all the time. Archie's been playing all the time. Ryan plays all the time. So there's kind of like a core that he seems to
Gravitate
towards, and then spread the playing time around that.
Yeah, you know, I think that comes
Which,
down
again,
to
totally
you
makes
build
sense.
a rapport, you know, not through practice or through one event. You build a rapport, you know, through a career and through multiple events and multiple situations. And, you know, as a coach, it's, you know, for me personally, when I coach, sometimes maybe I do make the wrong decision because I go with someone that I'm comfortable with, that I, you know, have trusted for a long time, rather than maybe a player that's playing a little bit better, but I haven't seen them in those situations enough, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with the experience and what I know, you know, 10 out of 10 times.
Well, and also it's results too.
Yeah.
You know, if I got a Ryan and a Marcelo and an Archie, multiple time MVPs, it makes a lot of sense to get you guys spins because, you know, results speak for themselves. So that's going to do it. Congratulations to New York Xtreme.
Real quick, hold on.
Yeah.
Pat is going off right now about New York.
Hey,
I wish
they
we
won
had
the
a
grudge
mic on
match,
them.
right?
Yeah.
You got to give them an earful here. So that's going to do it. Congratulations to New York Xtreme, undefeated through the prelims, and Diesel getting taken down by Revo. Next up is going to be Evanston Impact and X Factor. That's going to be a good set with Infamous and Notorious. We'll be right back. I'm Maddie. Thank you so much, Marcelo. Best of luck.
Thank
this
you.
afternoon. We'll see you in just a few.